This is your USMNT Abroad weekend update from March 8th to March 10th of 2024. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV, and welcome to the US Men's National Team Abroad series, where every single Monday we update you on how the Yanks did abroad over the weekend. Now, I normally start these episodes with a very bad and crappy dad joke, but I ran out of jokes, and I'm not a dad, and I don't want to recycle old jokes. So I have something else to say, which will be very serious and very important. So you might want to pay attention. And this is what I want to say. Weston Mckennie and Christian Pulisic right now are among the top 5 or 10 players in their position in the Serie A, which is probably the second, third, or fourth best league in the world. You pick whatever ranking you want. The point is, they are a top 10 or top 5 player in one of the best leagues in the entire planet. On top of that, the US men's national team has a great supporting cast to surround them with plenty of players performing in the best leagues in the world. What's my point here? My point is that the Nations League is coming up soon. There is absolutely no excuses for mediocre results with a coach that is literally in his second cycle with these players. By mediocre results, I mean the Nations League and Copa America this summer. If something special or something good is not achieved on all of these, he should absolutely be fired. And the reason I want to say that is because the narrative that the team is young and the players are not that good, it's dead. Gone. These players are no longer that young. They're doing very well in the best leagues in the world. And there's no more excuses. You dominate CONCACAF and you have a competent Copa America, challenging some good South American teams. You don't have to beat Brazil, but challenge Brazil. You should beat Colombia at home. You should at least pull a draw against Uruguay. But anyhow, we're going to talk a lot about that after the Nations League, once we hit April and May and we focus in the Copa America. With that said, we might do a Messi vlog this week, so stay tuned for that. If it happens, it'll probably be on Wednesday or Thursday. And US Men's National Team roster is out this week, so we're going to do a live stream on that as well. With that said, drop a like so we can try to hit 1,000 likes in this video. And shall we begin? And let's start with the Americans that play in the top 5 leagues. The first one being the English Premier League. And the first 2 players I want to talk about are Matt Turner and Giovanni Reyna from Nottingham Forest. You know, the 2 guys that just never play. And on Sunday, Gio Reyna was not available for Nottingham Forest once again. And the reasoning still seems to be that he's dealing with a knock or a minor injury. That also cost him the game last weekend. Which makes me wonder if Berhalter will leave him out of the US Men's National Team roster that's going to be released this week. Because who knows? Is he actually injured? I don't know. As for Matt Turner, he stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes. Also about Gio, just going back to that for a second, we don't know what injury he has, and we also don't know if he's actually injured. There is a slight possibility that he's not even making the bench, which doesn't make much sense to me. But if you think about it, Nottingham Forest earlier this season, they had André Santos on a loan, the Brazilian central defensive midfielder that belongs to Chelsea. And they did the same to him. He wouldn't even make the bench, and then Chelsea ended up recalling André Santos. So are they doing the same to Gio? I don't know, but would I put it past them? No. Who knows? Anyhow, let's go to the next American, and that is Chris Richards from Crystal Palace. And on Saturday, Chris Richards started and played as a left center back in a back 3 for Crystal Palace the full 90 minutes during their 1-1 draw with Luton Town. He has definitely become a locked-in starter for them. I think he'll continue to start even when Mark Guéhi is back. Next up, we have Austin Trusty from Sheffield United. And on Saturday, Trusty started and played the full 90 minutes for Sheffield during their 2-2 draw with Bournemouth in the English Premier League. But wait, I'm not done with this game, because we have good news. And that is about Tyler Adams. He has made the bench for the first time in 2024 for Bournemouth. He didn't get any minutes, and I don't expect him to get minutes anytime soon, but it's a step in the right direction. It also gives him more than enough time to be 90 minutes fit for the Copa America this summer. As long as he starts getting consistent minutes around April, even if it is as a backup, he should be fine for the Copa America during the summer. What we can't do is have him rush coming back to his team, jack up the minutes too early, came back way too early, and he ended up re-aggravating his injury that apparently wasn't fully healed at the time. Well, now he should be fully healed, but still, let's give him time and ease him back into these activities and the matches so we don't have an injured Tyler Adams again. Yeah, because it would kind of suck if he got injured again. The dude has been out for almost a year, right? He had that quick game. But anyhow, let's move on. Tyler seems to be fit, seems to be fully healthy, and hopefully his minutes start to ramp up in April. Next up, we have the Americans that play for Fulham, and they are Tim Ream and Anthony Robinson from Fulham, because I kind of already said the Americans that play for Fulham. And on Saturday, A-Rob started and played the full 90 minutes for Fulham during their 2-1 loss to Wolves in the English Premier League. As for Tim Ream, he stayed on the bench once again the full 90 minutes. Next on the list, we have the Americans that play in Italy, and we're going to start with the ones that play for Milan, Christian Pulisic and Yunus Musa. And on Sunday, Pulisic started and played 63 minutes for Milan during their 1-0 win over Empoli. As for Yunus Musa, he was subbed in around minute 63, when Pulisic was subbed out for Milan. So let's start with Musa, but I'll be brief with my analysis of Yunus Musa. I'll be super quick, like a quickie. Musa showed flashes of talent on a few occasions here in this match when he came on. But, just some nice passes, good dribbling ability. Defensively, he was fine. It just really seems like he lacks in the final third. Whether it is that final pass, a shot on goal, which, again, that also explains the lack of goals and assists. The thing is, Musa is a really good player. It makes me wonder if maybe he should be playing a bit deeper, right? Instead of pushing high up the field in the final third. Still playing as an 8, but just not pushing very high up the field. Or maybe he'll just develop and become very good on his offensive game as well. I don't think it's a skill issue. It seems like it's more of a decision-making problem. But I could be wrong, okay? But let's talk about Christian Pulisic. How did he do? And you see, it was a decent performance. Nothing brilliant, nothing bad, but he was decisive. He saved Milan once again. Pulisic scored the only goal of the match that gave Milan a win. Was it an ugly goal? Yes, it was pretty ugly. Does it count the same as a golazo? Yes, they all count as one, so he scored. I mean, if you really look into the goal, let's talk about it. It was a poor left-footed shot on target that went in due to a deflection. But again, it doesn't really matter. He scored his 8th goal in the season in the Serie A. This also is the second weekend in a row where Pulisic is the X factor for Milan's win. Last weekend, he was able to draw 2 red cards, which is why they defeated Lazio, in my opinion. And during the midweek, he also drew a red card in the Europa League, and he scored. I believe it was against Slavia Prague or something like that. He's on track to have the best club season of his career. Sure, nothing this season will beat, winning the Champions League with Chelsea, but from an individual standpoint, this has been the best season in my opinion, at least in terms of consistency, being injury-free, and impact on the field for his team. Also, keep in mind that he was only subbed out early for this match because he needs to rest. He played the full 90 minutes last week, and he played 90 minutes on Thursday against Slavia Prague. I am honestly quite surprised with the amount of minutes that Pulisic has been able to play this season without getting injured. I think we can put the injury-prone label to rest. And I don't want to jinx it or anything, so, knock on wood, but we can't really call a player that's been fit the entire season and he's honestly playing the full 90 minutes every weekend and sometimes twice a week with no injury. We can't call him injury prone anymore. Pulisic has been healthy all season for Milan. Might have missed 1 or 2 games with a minor discomfort. Outside of that, he's had nothing. Still in Italy, we have the Americans that play for Juventus, and they are Weston Mckennie and Tim Weah. And on Sunday, Mckennie started and played 88 minutes for Juve during their 2-2 draw with Atalanta. As for Tim Weah, he came off the bench around minute 83, and he was very meh. I don't know how to describe his performance. He was active. He ran a lot, tried to get a few crosses, got dispossessed here and there. Again, it just doesn't seem like Juventus is really Tim Weah's level unless you want him to just be a backup forever. But Mckennie, on the other hand, was back from injury at a record speed once again. Talked about this before. Weston Mckennie is like the Wolverine. But it's not just that he was back. He was actually fantastic for Juventus once again. He was the man of the match in my personal opinion. As I said earlier in the video, he's probably easily a top 10 central midfielder in the Serie A this season, maybe top 5, if you simply go based off performances. Mckennie had 5 chances created this match. 2 of them ended up being assists, and both assists were actually brilliant moments from Weston. The first one, Weston Mckennie drove through the middle and slipped the ball through to find Cambiasso, putting him in front of the goal to score. The second assist was a chest assist from Weston Mckennie. After a cross was delivered to Weston, he didn't settle the ball to himself with the chest. Instead of doing that, he actually had the vision and the creativity to chest it to Milik, putting his teammate in a perfect position to score. You see, Weston Mckennie made that chest assist look easy. To think with that speed of play of doing that, chesting the ball to your teammate, and to actually do it is truly remarkable. In terms of positioning, Weston Mckennie roamed a lot through the field. He was all over the place, out wide, central. In possession, he would push out wide quite often. He looked like a central defensive midfielder, like a central midfielder, looked like right wing back, a right winger at times. It honestly didn't even look like this guy came back from injury. Again, Mckennie has been incredible this season, to say the least. One of the best players for Juventus, right, in the Serie A, and one of the best players in the Serie A in general, which is crazy to think about, especially after his struggles with Leeds. With that said, before we continue, a quick word from our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Their link, in case you want to play, is in the description of this video. And thank you, Underdog Fantasy, for sponsoring Tactical Manager TV. Underdog Fantasy is a fun game to play prior to any soccer match, or basketball, or football as well, but we don't talk about those two in Tactical Manager TV. Sometimes basketball during live watch-alongs. I have been playing Underdog Fantasy for over a year now. You can download the app by using the link on the description of this video, and you can also use the promo code TMTV. And Underdog will be matching your first deposit for up to $100. And in the process, you'll be helping the channel avoid bankruptcy. The game I mainly play is called Pick'em. You just click on it, scroll to the soccer section, and pick a player for a specific match and select the stats that you believe will be lower or higher. It's very easy to play, but be smart about your picks because it's not easy to win. I'll be playing some Underdog Fantasy during some match live streams or match live watch-alongs, so stay tuned for that, as I will be forced to cheer for a player or root against him. Now, I am a professional hater, so I'll probably be rooting for the player's downfall. Once again, don't forget to use the promo code TMTV and use the link on the description of this video. Thank you, Underdog Fantasy, for sponsoring the channel. Next up, we have the Americans that play in the Bundesliga in Germany. So why don't we start with Brendan Aronson from Union Berlin. And on Friday, Brendan Aronson started off the bench and was subbed in the 73rd minute for Union Berlin during their 2-0 loss to Stuttgart. After Brendan Aronson, we have John Anthony Brooks from Hoffenheim. And on Sunday, John Brooks started and played 22 minutes for Hoffenheim during their 3-1 loss to Eintracht Frankfurt. So you may be wondering, 22 minutes. Did he get a red card? Did he get injured? And boy, do I have mixed feelings about this match. John Brooks scored for Hoffenheim off a header at minute 6, and then he got a straight red card at minute 22, as he was the last man, and he took down the opponent to stop him from going on a 1v1 against his goalkeeper. Now, I'm going to defend John Brooks and then attack John Brooks here. In his defense, he was trying to recover for his teammate that got beat. But still, he had two choices there, to kind of let the opponent go and just on a 1v1 the goalkeeper, or go for a tackle that he probably would have not gotten the ball anyway, and, you know, get a red card early in the game. If it's something late in the game, like minute 70 or 80, it's probably best to just get the red card and try to hold on to the 1-0 lead. But it was far too early into the game to do that. It was not a smart decision from John Brooks, and he ended up getting a red card, and his team ended up losing anyway, 3-1. So I'm going to say this. Good for Brooks that he scored, but I can't call it a good performance because, you know, that red card was kind of stupid. And I didn't want to call it stupid, but I kind of did anyway. It's done. I have spoken. Next up, we have the Americans that play for Borussia Mönchengladbach, and they are Joe Scally and Pifak. And on Saturday, Scally and Pifak both started and played the full 90 minutes for Gladbach during their 3-3 draw with Cologne. I didn't watch this specific game, so I have no comment in terms of their performance, at least not my own opinion. However, I will say this, that Scally did get an assist in the second half of this match. Some reliable sources, though, that I know have said that Scally struggled quite a bit defensively throughout the match, but then again, I didn't watch this match, so I can't really give you a legit take. Leonard Maloney from Heidenheim is currently injured. He's dealing with a knee injury, so he didn't play this weekend. So the last American we have in Germany is Kevin Paredes from Wolfsburg. And on Sunday, Paredes started and played the full 90 minutes for Wolfsburg during their 2-0 loss to Leverkusen. That currently leads the league 10 points ahead of Bayern Munich. And this right here makes it 7 consecutive Bundesliga starts for Kevin Paredes. Now let's go to Spain, España, and talk about the Americans that play in La Liga. The first one being Luca de la Torre from Celta Vigo. And on Sunday, Luca de la Torre started and played the full 90 minutes for Celta de Vigo during their 4-0 loss to Real Madrid in La Liga. They got completely outplayed. I don't have much to say here. Luca wasn't really the problem. It's just that none of the Celta players are really anywhere close to the level of the Real Madrid players, so they got completely destroyed. And after Luca, we have Johnny Cardoso from Real Betis. And on Sunday, Johnny actually started off the bench and was subbed in around minute 78 for Real Betis during their 3-2 loss to Villarreal. They were down 3-2 when Johnny was subbed in. I wasn't able to get the actual reason of why Johnny was benched, but I'm assuming it's rotation after he played 9 straight games and almost a full 90 on all of them. I'll figure out the reason. I'll keep you guys updated next week. I mean, look, think about it this way. He was among their best performers for the past 7 games. It would not make any sense to bench him. Even with Guido Rodriguez back, they could both play together in the double pivot, and honestly, Johnny is better than William Carvalho. Okay, but let's leave Spain and go to France and talk about floating Balogun from Monaco. And on Sunday, Balogun started and played the full 90 minutes for Monaco during their 1-0 win over Strasbourg in Ligue 1. And again, it's the same story with Balogun. He can create plenty of shots for himself. He's great off the ball, the dribbling ability is great, he's fast, but the finishing, man, sometimes I think this guy is auditioning to be a stormtrooper in a Star Wars movie. He can't hit the target. I will die on this hill, though. I think he still is our best center forward, and I still believe he is and will be our best center forward for a foreseeable future. He should still start for the U.S. men's national team, and I think once he gets that finishing back on track, he will be a guy to consistently score 20 goals per season as he did last season. I'm not a big fan of the XG stat or expected goals, but he's one of those players that can produce a lot of expected goals against good opponents, unlike a lot of our other center forwards, but he'll underperform it, which is an issue. And again, keep in mind, when someone compares form, we talk about Sargent, and I'm not going to get into Pepe because he's not even a starter for his team, and it's hard to determine Pepe's form. He very often gets garbage minutes, but when talking about form and you talk about Josh Sargent being better formed than Balogun, it's true, but he's playing a much lower level, right? We got to take that into consideration, because if we go based off that, there could be an NCAA D1 player scoring 2 goals per game, and that guy might be better formed than Balogun, but he's playing at a lower level. Obviously, I'm exaggerating to make a point, but that's what I'm trying to say, right? Balogun plays in the top 5 league. Sargent is great and he's been fantastic, but we need to see Sargent in a better league before we can say, hey, he can actually challenge Balogun for that spot. I don't think he can. I think Balogun's the best center forward we have, most talented one, and he'll get it going eventually. I think it could even be a confidence issue. We'll find out soon. And I do want to say one thing. To anyone that watched this Monaco game, Balogun actually didn't play bad. The finishing wasn't good, but his actual gameplay, combining, creating chances and everything, he did fine. He didn't play poorly. Next up, we have the Americans that play in the Eredivisie in the Netherlands. And why don't we start with the 3 Americans that play for PSV, Malik Tillman, Serginho Dest, and Ricardo Pepi. And on Friday, Dest and Tillman both started for PSV during their 1-0 win over Go Ahead Eagles in the Eredivisie. And every time I cover Go Ahead Eagles, I still can't believe this is a real team. It's a quite remarkable name. I should probably buy their jersey. Okay, I'll do this. Sign up for the Patreon if you want to. I'm probably going to do a Patreon giveaway of a Go Ahead Eagles jersey, if I can find that. I'll try to find it. I promise eventually I'll do a Go Ahead Eagles giveaway on the Patreon. The link to the Patreon in the description of this video in case you want to sign up, support the channel, and join the community. There's some events coming up that we're going to talk about closer to June, so if you want to, join that. But back to the PSV players. Serginho Dest went to distance by playing the full 90 minutes and having a man-of-the-match performance. Malik Tillman played 66 minutes, and Ricardo Pepi came off the bench around minute 84. And how did they perform? Serginho Dest was brilliant, easily the best player on the field against Go Ahead Eagles. This wasn't even Dest, it was actually Destinho. He was blowing by defenders for fun. His dribbling ability is levels above most Eredivisie players, and sometimes too much for their defenders to deal with because the defending there is not great. He scored their goal 10 minutes into the match with a nice first touch down the left flank, and then he went on to dribble into the box and hit a nice shot with his right foot to score. The defending on the play was mediocre, but the offense was great. Dest could have easily had a brace this match. He had a nice shot on target in the second half that ended up being saved by the goalkeeper. And then late in the game, he also had another moment of brilliance where he dribbled through a few defenders and proceeded to shoot on goal. Unfortunately, the ball hit the post. But you know what's even more unfortunate? Ricardo Pepi was there for the rebound, but he blasted the ball over the crossbar, which was quite honestly a poor finish from Pepi himself. As for Malik Tillman, he was fine. He did well. He got a few shots on target. He looked good. He just struggled a bit this match with his dribbling and a few of his 50-50 duels. He's expected to start for PSV during the midweek. Now, Ricardo Pepi didn't have many minutes, so it's tough to actually rate his performance. He didn't do much besides, wasting that goal-scoring opportunity off a rebound from Serginho Dest's shot that hit the post, which, by the way, the shot he missed was a .5 XG. So half of those go in, statistically speaking. Now, 25 matches into the Eredivisie season, PSV is still undefeated. So that is tremendous work from the Americans. And the Americans are Ricardo Pepi, Tillman, and obviously Dest that I talked about in the video, and Ernie Stewart, the American that is actually the sporting director of PSV. Congratulations to all of them. It's been a tremendous campaign in the Netherlands. It's been amazing to see actually and follow. With that said, I was going to talk about Taylor Booth now that also plays in the Eredivisie, but unfortunately he's still recovering from injury, so I don't have no updates there. Let's quickly talk about Paxton Aronson that plays for Vitesse. And on Saturday, Paxton started and played the full 90 minutes for Vitesse during their 3-1 loss to RKC. Paxton actually scored for Vitesse this match, and according to a dear friend of the channel, Daniel Smith, a source that I very much trust, he said Paxton played very well, but Vitesse just isn't very good. This has actually been a great loan for Paxton during the mid-season. Maybe he should try to get another loan next season in the Eredivisie. It seems to be more of his level. Stay there for a full season, and then try his luck again in the Bundesliga right after with Eintracht Frankfurt, which that is the club that he actually has a contract with. He's currently on a loan. Now we have the Americans that play in the English second division, the EFL Championship, and we're going to start with Josh Sargent from Norwich. On Saturday, Sargent started and played 52 minutes for Norwich during their 5-0 win. And there's two things to say here. Sargent was subbed out early because they had a 5-0 lead, so he was rested. And Sargent also scored off a left-footed shot from close range during a moment in transition. That was goal number 12 for Josh Sargent in the championship with 17 matches played. After Sargent, we have Haji Wright. And on Saturday, Haji started and played the full 90 minutes for Coventry during their 2-1 win over Watford. And Haji Wright scored a brace. All their goals this match were scored by Haji Wright to give Coventry the win. The first goal was off a penalty kick, but he didn't want to get called Paji Prite, so he decided to score another goal, but on open play, which was a left-footed shot from outside the box. Haji Wright currently has 13 goals and 6 assists in the EFL Championship this season with 35 matches played. Last but not least, in the EFL Championship, we have Ethan Horvath that plays for Cardiff. And on Saturday, Horvath started and played the full 90 minutes for Cardiff during their 2-1 win over Ipswich in the EFL Championship. A very good Ipswich side, by the way, and Ethan Horvath made 3 saves this match. Still in the UK, I was going to talk about Cameron Carter-Vickers from Celtic in Scotland, but he didn't play for them this weekend because he felt another minor injury, I guess, or at least the coach said it was a minor injury on his hamstring, which was the injury that took him out for weeks. With that said, I don't expect Carter-Vickers to be at the US men's national team camp this March, and you can let me know in the comment section down below. Who should Greg bring to replace him? I think Tim Ream is a lock. Chris Richards is a lock. I would personally bring Austin Trusty. Then there's number 4. Who is it? Brooks, McKenzie, Miles Robinson, Walker Zimmerman. I think Greg's going to bring Miles Robinson, but I guess you tell me. Last but not least, we have the Americans that play in Mexico in Liga MX. And why don't we start with Alejandro Zendejas from Club America. And on Saturday, Zendejas started and played the full 90 minutes for Club America during their 2-0 win over Tigres. And sure, it seemed like Tigres was rotating. Most of their starters were being rested due to a match that they have against Orlando City during the midweek. But Zendejas actually scored a very nice goal, which was, off a very good first touch and a good finish. And along with that, he got an assist. So look, 2-0 win, he got a goal. He got an assist. That's a man-of-the-match performance, in my opinion. After that, we have Cade Cowell from Chivas Guadalajara. And on Saturday, Cade Cowell started and played 74 minutes for Chivas during their 2-1 loss to Club Leon. From what I heard, he dropped a stinker. After Cade, it would have been Brendan Vasquez. And he did score in the CONCACAF Champions Cup during the midweek against FC Cincinnati. But over the weekend, his game is too late on Sunday. We don't have time to wait for him because we record this Sunday night. So you can let me know if he scored over the weekend as well. Brendan Vasquez from Monterrey. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like before you go if you made it this far in the video. And if you'd like to, in the description of this video, we have the link to our Patreon in case you want to join. We're probably going to have a pickup game here in Orlando in June if you want to help us out. And then obviously the jersey giveaways and much more that we're going to be releasing very soon, other perks as we have more people join. The goal is to hit 100 Patreon members as soon as possible, and we're slowly getting there. I want to thank you all very much for watching, for all your support, and have a great day.